Hi guys, this is us at Auchterhouse Community Woodland car park here, and basically it's the key access up into the Sidlaws, or the part of Sidlaws that's in this area near Dundee. And you've got three tops. We're going to head to Craigowl first. It has a lot of mobile phone communication towers on it, so it's about 400 metres. Then the next one we're going to hit, I'm only doing two today, is Windy Cairn. And on top of that is a monument to Syd Scroggie, which I've done a little short about. A really well-known walker in Dundee. And I'll explain a bit more as we get to the little monument. I've got my little rucksack today and my sticks. Still got my crisps and sandwiches. So let's get going. Somebody's obviously lost a scarf there. It's a lovely area here. There are so many walks. I've been up here quite a number of times. It's very close to Teeling. And just at the back of Dundee. Lots and lots of history around here as well. Beautiful community woodland. Well looked after. Car park itself can get quite busy in the summer. I'm here during a Thursday and the weather is not too bad, slightly overcast, which as you know I quite like. It's actually a really good winter walk. It's not difficult at all. Like I say, these are the route we're taking today is slightly more interesting, I think. But as you come round, you'll begin to see Craigowl and the mobile phone communication towers there. One thing you got to remember is do not go into the field with cows. If you can avoid it, especially if they've got calves. Years and years ago, I came off a hill at the back of Newton Moor, and I thought I'll just cut across the field. What I didn't realise was there was just a herd of cows, massive cows, with calves, newborn. And I had my dog with me, Susie. I climbed into the field over the fence, and Susie would not come with me. She just backed away. And I was like, what's going on? And I kind of looked a bit further, and I could see all these cows, and they were coming towards us. So I got back over the other side of the fence, and realised that, Susie was giving me the message. These cows are not happy and they weren't to come right across. The key to this route is really to get the field to your right. So it's lovely paths. Quite quiet today, which is good. As you come along, you'll see a little post there, but I like to go this way. If you continue, you're going to pick up the same path, but you always want to be sort of bearing to your right. Come out to a little pond. Just wonder if there's any newts or anything in here. Probably not. Maybe further across there. Lots of butterflies. Lovely. Like I say, you continue to the post, you're going to come up here anyway. Can't avoid these in Scotland. We all need them. Just spoil it a little bit, but not too much. As you come up, you see the sign, and this is the way we're going to come back along here, but we're heading up this way. So the other one is a path back to the car park. That's where we came from. Now as you come up here, you're about, I would say, 20 minutes from the car park. You'll see here a turning to the right. That's going to bring us to the gate. There is two gates, one further down. I find this one the best of them all. If you took that route, it would basically bring you to the Syd Scroggie trig point, or little monument. And we're going to head up to Craigowl that way first, and then cut back across towards Syd's trig point, or memorial. Just remember, the fern is thick city, so Once you've been through here, make sure when you finish you do a little tick check. Make sure you haven't got any on your body, but that's the direction I'm heading up there. You'll just see here, the gate. So as normal, go through the gate and look after. There's a bit of a path at the beginning, and I think you can pick up bits of the path to bring you to the top. You can see Dundee. You can see just behind me here, it's the Dundee. Across here, the two tops, that's perhaps a Fife. Down towards the bridge, Broughty Ferry. And then across on the other side there is Fife, Tayport, and then way along towards Lucas and Andrews. Well, we're heading up to these communication towers. That's where my dad worked for a while. He was a scaffolder then, and they were doing repairs. So every time I come up here, it does remind me of my dad. Both mum and dad worked pretty hard. Dad laboured virtually all his life, working since he was 13, coming across from Southern Ireland. Hard labour, you know. I used to go with them sometimes, school holidays, and I used to think, oh my God, how can you do this day in and day out? Well, of course, you know, these were tough men. And of course my mum, she worked in a factory 12 hours a day, you know, so the two of them working incredibly hard to give us 4 boys a decent life. You can see here we're going to come up to a stile. We're going to go over that and up towards the towers there. At that point we're going to return back this way. Not this route, but the route next to the fence. And of course, over the stile, I like to put these here, and then up onto the stile, get a leg across, get the other one across, drop down, pick up our sticks. Away we go. See them all here. A very good signal up here. Little aircraft up there. That's it. Always reminds me of my dad for some reason. Well, I know why. He's up here doing some scaffolding. He always talked about it. Just up there, there's the highest point. So it's 455. There is a higher hill, I think, or maybe in this range, this section here. But Sidlaws run pretty much from Forfar to Perthshire. Just down here and down the front edge there. Some really nice places to sit and eat and have a cup of tea. Back over the stile. So let's head back down here. See, we're keeping the fence to our right here. But you can see that one just there to the left. That's where Syd Scroggie's monument is. Like I say, they're not big hills, but it's certainly worth a visit. It's a beautiful area. One of the things I've tried to do, obviously if you've seen the podcast in regard to when I was in the Navy as a clearance diver, and then offshore sort of commercial diving, etc., was always to keep a high standard of fitness. And this is why I love being up in the hills. Well, there's probably 2 reasons. One is I get peace. Here is peace. You don't have to think about anything too much. It's almost like a release. And the other one is a degree of fitness as well. But just being outside, I think, helps. So I'd recommend it to anybody. You see here we lose quite a lot of height. That is a lonely tree. I remember coming up here years ago. It's still here. Great. Absolutely superb. And we're going to go through this little gate here and head up there. So, gate back in place. Well, sort of. I'm going to head up there. Only probably 10 minutes away from the little top. That's where we've come from. So Craigowl, just heading up there. There we are. Keep referring to it as a trig point. You can see why I keep thinking this. So this is Syd Scroggie Memorial. Syd Scroggie, Man of the Hills. What it does is, if you look at it, it will be pointing to all the different hills, etc. So Syd was born in 1919. This memorial, he came up in 2000. Was when the memorial, he was 80 years old. So I have done a little short of Syd Scroggie. So if you look at it, it's really, really good. He, like I say, he's an inspirational man. In the Second World War, he stood on a landmine, or an anti-personnel mine, blew part of his lower leg off and blinded him. So when he came back, that didn't stop him going up the hills. He was a great hill climber prior to that, but that didn't stop him. He continued, even though he's blind, a blind amputee, he continued to walk up many of these hills here, but not just in the Sidlaws, but up Glendall and many others. I think he did, assisted obviously, about 700, but can you imagine? I've done some of the hills that he climbed, and they're fairly difficult, even for somebody that is not disabled at all. Yeah, so a great man, a great inspiration. Like I say, if you get up here, it's certainly worth going and just visiting the little cairn here. Certainly worth it. And you've got these views right over Dundee. Dundee itself, at one point, it was one of the major towns, the major cities in Scotland. All my three brothers did their trades at the Caledon shipyard, and we actually built ships here. But that isn't anymore. There's some construction work on jack-up rigs, etc. But very, very little happening. And I wish it would, because I don't know why. We have a fantastic harbour and we have some fantastic people. But the jam in journalism, I think, is pretty much gone. And it is now one of the capital of Europe of drug abuse, which is incredibly sad. I think it's very, very sad. My personal thought is get people to do national service. It was the best thing that ever happened to me joining the military. The military doesn't care what colour of skin you've got. It doesn't care where you came from. It will give you every opportunity if you want it. But you must have to want these things. Look across here, you'll be able to see the path we're going to head up to the hill. That's our third hill. So these are the three main tops of this section of the Sidlaws. Now watch here, there's pretty loose stone on the way down. Like I say, it can be pretty dodgy when it's raining or in the winter. Now as you come down off where Syd's Memorial is, that's quite a steep down there, so just watch. You go through a fence, or a gate I should say. It's a nice clear path, goes all the way up to the hill. As we're heading up to top 3, you can see that Sidlaws range there. See it there? There's quite a few nice hills. You see, they're not particularly big, but yeah, good days out. Directly across there, a Paps of Fife. And then got a bad little walk as well. Pretty busy though. But this is it's the second highest in the Sidlaws, about 400 metres, something like that plus. And it is had a Iron Age fort on top. So you don't really see anything, but it's one of these points that you see. I'll just go behind here, you'll see Craigowl, it was number 1. Then you've got Syd Scroggie's Memorial, and the third one is Auchterhouse Hill. And Auchterhouse is an area around here, is a little village, I suppose. There's no shops, etc., but lots of large houses. It's us just arriving at the fort, or when I say fort, is a position of an old Iron Age fort. And you can understand why it was here when you see the kind of views they've got. You can see the range here running right along there. Lovely views. Now here you can take a number of routes down. Same on this side here. So we'll call it a day here, end the walk here, just on top of Auchterhouse Hill, 426 metres. And it's the second highest. I'm not too sure, I think Craigowl is the highest at 445. I may be wrong and I'll check that, put up on the screen. But here we did the 3 tops in this area, this part of the Dundee area, Teeling Dundee area, part of the Sidlaws. And if you go that way, there are quite a few other good little hills that you can get up to. And this one's great. You can do these 3. So you got the Craigowl, from Craigowl to Syd Scroggie's Memorial. That's about 370 or something like that. And then drop off there and up to here. And like I say, you can drop off the back, pick up a path, it'll bring you all the way back to the car park. I'm going to head back down because there's a little area further down that I'm going to sit down, have my lunch. But I hope you enjoyed the walk. Like I say, it's not that demanding. To here it's taken me just about 2 hours. Whole walk, 3 hours max, I would say. I was keeping a good pace, but even at that I was stopping and filming, etc. It was normal. I really appreciate you guys joining me on the walk, and I hope you enjoyed it. You guys take care. All the best.